there, welcome to Studio 5. We've got a great variety of uplifting entertainment stories ahead. We're going to take a look at a new documentary exploring life after death. We're also taking a deeper dive into a music group we brought you a few weeks ago. They are One House Music. And then an NFL player reveals his secret ability to see the open field. All this is ahead, but first, let's fire up our countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. Here, number 4 and number 5.
At number 5.
It's time.
What wondrous love is this?
A sneak peek at season 4 of The Chosen, ahead of its release February 1st, 2024.
My followers won't understand. The Son of Man must suffer many things. But you are the Son of God.
And some big news about how far-reaching the show is becoming.
The Chosen, the first ever multi-season television show about the life of Jesus, is making history again, this time for being broadcast to more than 10 million residents on the island of Madagascar in their native language.
I know it's hard. Man makes it much harder.
To bear the dreadful curse.
When he leans on his own understanding.
Footage released on the series' Instagram page shows 3,000 orphans in the African nation being introduced to Jesus Christ.
At number 4, a look at this year's inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and memories from the ceremony.
Sheryl Crow and Chaka Khan made the crowd roar at the 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony Friday night in New York. The Queen of Funk did a medley of her hits, including Ain't Nobody. And the Southern singer-songwriter knocked out an electric version of her If It Makes You Happy, alongside Olivia Rodrigo. Elton John came out of retirement to perform and toast his songwriting partner, Bernie Taupin. Inductee Willie Nelson joined Dave Matthews and Chris Stapleton, combined to perform a rollicking On the Road Again, which got a standing ovation. The Rock Hall show is on Disney Plus and will air highlights on ABC TV New Year's Day.
And so the countdown begins. We've got the remaining 3 stories coming up in just a few moments. Right now, we take a look at a new film from Angel Studios. It's called After Death. It's a powerful documentary with people with near-death experiences. Filmmaker Stephen Gray joins us for Studio 5 First Look.
I think the near-death experience is where science meets religion. Doctors resuscitate.
I can't be dead because I've never felt more alive.
I've never heard these experiences before. Hogwash. What I've tried to do is put data out there that's been scientifically, rigorously collected.
What really convinced me is that when they would come back, they actually saw what was going on in the room.
What inspired the journey to create this?
It was born out of loss. So my brother-in-law, Marco, he was killed in a car wreck in 2012. Mm-hmm. And that kind of caused me to ask questions about, what happens after we die.
They very commonly see a light. Deceased relatives come to meet them.
The first person I saw was my grandfather. Now I'm traveling like a rocket ship, straight upwards. And with that... Oh my God, I'm alive.
I found, the stories are so profound, so incredible, but it was actually, it was the kind of chorus of stories is what was kind of, grabbing my attention. It's like, there's 30 different people, very different backgrounds, very different situations in terms of how they died. And they're having these profound experiences that seem to overlap.
It was 1969, a beautiful day to fly. We were about 100 feet above the ground when I started noticing that something was wrong. It was engine failure. Trees were filling our windshield. I found myself above the crash site. And while I'm processing what I'm looking at, I can see a pilot, and this is me.
Dr. Jeffrey Long in our film, he has a study of over 4,000 near-death experiences. And those are collected from all around the world, multiple languages. It's not just North America. And yeah, it just kind of points to again, the overlapping nature of these experiences.
But they typically occur in a very consistent process.
We began to go down the river,
and my boat became pinned. I was drowning.
The first thing that happens is called an out-of-body experience.
So we have 3 people in the film. We have 14 people altogether who clinically die between seconds to an hour and 45 minutes. And we have 3 hellish experiences in the film.
But not every near-death experience is a good one. 23% had hellish experiences. I saw a black tunnel.
I mean, just falling.
I wasn't in fear, I was in terror.
It was just darkness.
Put me back.
And for me, it's kind of like, well, what's the purpose, right? Like, it's a horrific experience that they had. All 3 individuals, completely changed their life around for the better. And maybe that was the purpose, the glimpse of seeing that. I think many would say that would be the reason. They definitely look at life a little differently, and they're very happy to be alive today.
This really does show that there is life after death.
If you had to pull something that made it on the cutting room floor that you wish got in, what would it be?
It's a great question. We had this scene with John Burke, who's a main character in the film, who had studied near-death experiences for over 30 years, 1,000 different accounts, and he actually came to faith through near-death experiences. And so there was a scene where he described what that looked like for him. And the thing that he started to do was he compared the descriptions of what people were seeing in their near-death experience to what text was showing in these different religions. But the Bible actually had 38 out of the 40 common descriptors of what people would describe in their near-death experience all around the world. I mean, that number is massive, and that actually tipped the scale for him to accept Christ and come to faith.
You actually, so deep in the weeds with this, if you will. How did it change you?
Oh, it completely changed me. So 2012, I wasn't sure if I really believed if there was a heaven. I was raised in a church and considered myself Christian all my life till that point. But in 2012, honestly, I wasn't sure where I stood on that. It was chaos in my life, and so me asking the question of, is there heaven? Does this actually exist? I was on shaky ground at that point. But it was all of these different people's experiences that profoundly, impacted my life. I have a security in my faith, and it's caused me to just kind of double down on, even reading God's word and exploring, what the Bible has to say about this.
I knew that I was being held by Christ purely as I know anything. I know it sounds crazy.
After Death is in theaters right now.
Still to come.
I be lying if I said I don't need your love. I be lying if I said I don't need you, God.
They blend contemporary Christian with gospel. Members of One House Music talk to us about their unique sound and their life-giving message.